What's up, guys? It's Bang and Dang. We are the Mouthy Michiganders, and we are back for another new edition of
Fucking woo.
Outlaws and Gunslingers. Oh. Yeah, not that one yet, man. Outlaws and Gunslingers. We'll save the Deadwood review to when we're a little more buzzed. Maybe we can
a little more
get through this with no slurring of the words here.
A little more buzz.
This is actually our first newly recorded episode, and a couple of them since Battle of Little Bighorn didn't have time to re-record the first one, and we were attempting to do the second one a re-record, but it just didn't make sense with how the first one was recorded, so we left those two like they were, and so now we're re-recording this one. This one's going to be all about Billy the Kid.
William H. Bonney, better known as Mr. McCarty.
Mr. McCarthy.
McCarthy?
I think it is. We'll see, won't we?
Might be McCarthy.
But yeah, so if you guys are already on this journey with us, this is like episode 12 or something like that we've done already, and we got about 8 more-ish, I think, of Wild West.
Maybe. We'll see.
We're going to see
how it works out.
Because last time, Billy the Kid was 2 parts, and we're going to see if we can't get away with one whole recording
Trying
tonight.
to keep episodes between 30 and 45 minutes, man. So if we can't, we're not going to run it past up to an hour. It's just too long for.
An hour is the max, except for when it comes to Wyatt Earp, because there's all 4 of those are going to be over an hour.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, we'll have those, and then we'll start going into the newer shit.
I watched this terrible E-movie today. It was rated like 7.0, and I was like, oh shit! It just came out like 2 weeks ago. Once Upon a Time in Tombstone. I was like, sweet. And I started watching it, and it was the worst ever. I was like, no. I had Doc and the Earps and more in depth. In the beginning, it gave you a bunch of facts about Tombstone, how there were only 100 people in the first year, and then after 6 months of that, it was up to 10 grand. I was like, damn.
Who was in it? Was it a movie or a documentary?
It was a movie. Nobody I've ever fucking heard of.
And it was on E?
No.
You said it was an E movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Like a B movie? But this it was like an E movie.
I thought you meant like the channel E. Like, what the fuck is the E channel making that for?
Because it was rated like 7 out of 10, and I was like, "Oh, this can't be a independent film. Oh, this is way past before independent. This is like, I guess would be independent, but like super independent. A camera and a couple guys in an old building in a desert or something. Ridiculous.
Was it actually factful? Maybe that's why they gave it such a highly rated.
It was all facts. It was just terrible acting and terrible camera work and audio and all that good shit. You know, just a terrible movie.
Yeah, what are you gonna do, man? You can't win them all. Yeah.
I probably could have watched it all, but
especially when you have the
still might.
Especially when you have the actual movie Tombstone to live up to. Or is anything gonna be as good? You know.
Yeah, and plus this movie is only an hour and 22 minutes.
Yeah. Enough about Tombstone, since this episode has literally nothing to do with Tombstone at all.
Ever.
Again, we're going to try to get this done in one shot, but if not, we'll have another part 2 for you.
You only get one shot to blow. Is that what he says?
No.
Don't fuck this opportunity up. Yo.
Billy the Kid.
I'm Billy the Kid.
Henry McCarty. It is McCarty. I thought it was McCarthy.
Yeah, I told you it was McCarty.
He's better known as Billy the Kid, obviously, and also by the pseudonym William H. Bonney. He was born to Irish Catholic ancestry in New York City.
New York City?
New York City?
Dang.
His parents' names...
You got one of the most prominent gangsters, outlaws, gunslingers ever, and the dude come from New York City.
Right.
Wow.
You don't really see that much, do you?
Nope, I don't think ever.
His parents' names are not known for certain, but his mother was thought to be Catherine, and his father perhaps Patrick. Maybe. What do they call you?
Irish.
What do they call you, perhaps Patrick?
I mean, they sound Irish, right? Catherine, Patrick, them are Irish names.
Although his birth year, though, has been confirmed as 1859, the exact date or day, I guess, of his birth has been disputed as either September 17th or November 23rd of that year.
Or anywhere in between.
Right, that's a hell of a discrepancy.
Right.
A letter from an official of
I mean, that's a lot, because he can be a Sagittarius, or worse before Sagittarius. Aquarius? Or Libra?
Sagittarius is in November 3rd and 23rd. It starts at literally the 29th or 30th.
Yeah, it starts when, No,
maybe it's the 17th.
Yeah, because my daughter is a Sagittarius.
Maybe it's like the 15th through the... No, because I'm a Sagittarius,
yeah,
but it ends like right before Christmas, so maybe it's like the 20th to the 20th or something, I want to say.
It's possible.
Something like that. But Yeah, either or. Means something like that. A letter from an official at the St. Peter's Church in Manhattan states it is in possession of records showing McCarty was baptized there on September 28th, 1859.
Okay, so it could have been a couple weeks to a month old.
And, well, if he was baptized in September 28th, that means that he was born September 17th, right?
Baptized 2 weeks later or 11 days later.
Well, he couldn't be baptized before he was born on November 23rd, so...
All right, so why would they have between or November 23rd when clearly the priest was like, no.
Maybe there's...
He's like, nope.
Maybe there's other evidence.
He was here.
You think he's the only Henry McCarty that was ever in or around Manhattan?
Right.
Well, census records do indicate that his younger brother Joseph McCarty was born in 1863, so we at least know that he was born before 1863. And we know that it's been confirmed it was in 1859. So there you go, folks. Somewhere around there. Right.
Following the death of her husband, Patrick, Catherine.
Perhaps Patrick.
Right. Okay. Following the death of her husband, Patrick, sometime after the Civil War, Catherine McCarty, now her name's spelled different. Oh, shit.
I know. I just noticed. I was like, I spelled it with a K and then a C.
Catherine McCarty and her sons moved to Indianapolis, Indiana, where she met William Henry Harrison Antrim. Damn. At about the same time, Billy's mother contracted tuberculosis.
Oh, what the hell's up with these famous gun laws and outslingers? What's the deal with these famous guys getting, their mama's getting TB?
Right, and they were told to move to drier climate.
The
McCarty family moved with Antrim to Wichita, Kansas.
Oh, Wichita.
In the year of 1870. After moving again a few years later, Catherine married Antrim on the 1st of March in 1873 at the First Presbyterian Church in, you guessed it, Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Damn, she was
I've never heard that before.
She was with this guy for a while before they got married, which is pretty unusual back then.
Yep, fantastic. McCarty and his brother Joseph were witnesses to the ceremony. Shortly afterward, the family moved to Santa Fe to from Santa Fe to Silver City, New Mexico.
Oh, Silver City.
Joseph McCarty began using the name Joseph Antrim.
Okay.
His stepfather worked as a bartender and carpenter, but soon got the prospecting bug and was like, I want some gold. He's like, babe, I'm going to virtually ignore you and my stepsons, and I'm going to live in the mountains.
Except for when I want my dick wet, damn it.
Right.
I want to sow my seeds.
He's like, I'm going to get me some gold. I'm going to war. Right? War with the land. I'm going to win. Pull out its insides.
Get it.
And make money.
I get it.
Right. Faced with an absent husband, McCarty's mother took in boarders in order to provide for her sons. Despite the better climate, Billy's mother continued to worsen, and on 16th September in 1874, she died tragically from her condition. After her death, Antrim placed Billy and his younger brother Joseph in separate foster homes and left Silver City for Arizona. That's how much he hated those kids. He was like, no.
He's like, yeah.
You that way. I'm out. I'm going this way.
I'm going to Arizona.
Damn, that's pretty messed up. That's usually how it was, right? That's fucking nuts. Mother dies young.
Stepdaddy's like, I don't want you two no more.
Right.
Bye.
There's a movie I watched where it's similar to that.
I'm sure there's tons of movies that are similar like that.
Oh, what's it fucking called? I don't know. It was a Western, yeah. No, yeah, he didn't kill, the mom didn't die, but basically.
Didn't die, but basically. Okay. No, I don't know what you mean. But
acted like a nice guy to get married, and
right.
when he died, he turned out who he was. Treated kids like shit. Treated her like shit. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Kidnapped her.
Oh. Okay.
For like 2 months, he held her in like a little shack in the middle of the desert with like 30 armed guys surrounding it all day and all night, while the kids were at home, and he just like fucking tortured them basically. Well, not tortured them, but you know what I mean. Treated him like shit. Made the boy cry.
No.
Talk shit to the girl.
That's pretty strange movies, but at the age of 14, the smooth-cheeked, blue-eyed McCarty was forced to find work in a hotel.
Soldier's Revenge. There you go. Look that up. Came out in like 2019 or 18 or 2020. It's a good movie.
Probably won't.
I think it has.
You just told me everything that happens. No need to watch it.
Everything. I'll tell you what happens.
They kill the guy and they end up fucking letting her mom out. So good for them.
Who does?
The kids.
No.
Obviously.
Kids don't.
Obviously.
Kids don't do anything.
Obviously.
Why would they?
Obviously.
No, there's more to the story.
Well, the kids do.
What do you think happens?
The kids do.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Either that or some guy, one of the soldiers falls in love with her or something and fucking does something. Who knows?
Well, not just some guy.
The actual baby daddy comes back for him.
The kids found him.
Okay. Well, there's it, guys. You don't need to watch the movie no more.
There's that.
At the age of 14, the smooth cheek, blue-eyed McCarty was forced to find work in a hotel, washing dishes and waiting tables at the restaurant. The boy was reported to be very friendly, they say. The manager was impressed by the young boy, boasting that
He was known to talk decent, right? He was known to be an intelligent child or a young man.
I don't think so. I think you're thinking of Jesse James.
Jesse? No, I'm thinking of Billy. Billy was, yeah, he was.
The manager was so impressed with the young boy, boasting that he was the only kid who ever worked for him that didn't steal anything. His school teachers thought that the young orphan was no more of a problem than any other boy, always quite willing to help with chores around the schoolhouse. However, September 23rd, 1875, McCarty was indeed arrested for hiding a bundle of stolen clothes for a man playing a prank on a Chinese laundryman. Okay, 2 days after Billy was thrown in jail, the scrawny teen escaped by worming his way up the jailhouse chimney.
Damn, fantastic.
From that point on, McCarty would be a fugitive for the rest of his life.
Oh, shit.
McCarty located his stepfather and stayed with him until Antrim threw him out. McCarty stole clothing and guns from him. It was the last time the two saw each other.
Oh, shit.
He escaped out of jail for some stupid clothes stealing shit that he probably wouldn't even got really that much in trouble for.
All right.
And then now he's on the run, forced into fucking
He didn't even steal the clothes. He was holding them.
Right. But now he's on the run now and forced to commit even more crimes just to survive. And there goes his life.
Right. After Billy left Antrim, McCarty traveled to southeastern Arizona territory where he worked as a ranch hand. And he gambled his wages in nearby gaming houses.
Okay.
1876, he was hired as a ranch hand by well-known rancher Henry Hooker.
Henry Hooker.
During this very time, McCarty became acquainted with John R. Mackey, a Scottish-born criminal. He was a born criminal. That's fucked up. And former U.S. Cavalry private who, following his discharge, remained near the United States Army post at Camp Grant. He was like, I can't leave. Just got to be close.
I got to be near.
Right. The two men soon began stealing horses from local soldiers. That's why. McCarty became known as Kid Antrim because of his youth, slight build, clean-shaven appearance, and his personality. So he's like a little...
He acted like a little kid.
Like a little Tom Sawyer.
He acted like a kid.
Like a little Tom Sawyer or a Huck Finn.
Pretty much, right?
Right.
Was he going... I'm assuming he was going by Antrim at this time, too, right?
I would say so. Yep. Billy Antrim?
Billy Antrim? Probably wasn't even Billy. Willie Antrim?
Yep.
He eventually found work as an internet
installer? What?
itinerant ranch hand and sheep herder in southeastern Arizona. In 1877, he became a civilian teamster at Camp Grant Army Post with the duty of hauling logs from a timber camp to a sawmill.
Fantastic.
The civilian blacksmith at the camp, Frank Windy Cahill, took pleasure in bullying young Billy.
Of course he did.
On August 17th, 1877, McCarty was at a saloon in the village of Bonita when he got into an argument with Cahill, who a blacksmith who reportedly had called him a pimp. I think in those days, you didn't want to be called a pimp, obviously.
All right.
McCarty, in turn, called Cahill a son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch, I'm not a pimp.
Whereupon Cahill threw McCarty to the floor and the two struggled for McCarty's revolver.
Dang.
McCarty shot and mortally wounded Cahill. A witness said he had no choice. He had to use his equalizer.
Right.
Cahill died the following day. McCarty fled but returned a few days later and was apprehended by Miles Wood, who was the local justice of the peace.
Right, he had to, just to get some questions, right?
McCarty was detained and held in the Camp Grant guardhouse but escaped before law enforcement could arrive. Yeah, he was probably getting hung for that one. Even if I don't know, though. Self-defense.
That's that witness.
The witness was there, right. So, yeah, I'm not sure why this guy keeps fucking
just scared.
running from the law, man.
It's a scared little boy, man.
That's no excuse.
A scared little boy.
That's like when you watch Cops and they pull you over.
Scared.
What'd you run for? I was scared.
You ain't got no warrants or nothing, man. Come on.
I'm scared, man.
He's like, dude, I was just going to give you a broken taillight ticket and let you on your way.
But like, don't worry. You were white. I was not drawing my gun on you today.
Right. McCarty stole a horse and fled Arizona territory for Pecos Valley, New Mexico.
Pecosville Valley.
But Apaches took the horse
he
from him.
learned how to ride tornadoes.
Yeah, Pecos Bill was like, check this out. But the Apache Indians stole his horse, leaving him to walk. Look at him and kill his ass. leaving to walk for many, many, many miles to the nearest settlement, which was Fort Stanton in the Pecos Valley. McCarty was starving, and he was near death as he crawled into town, begging for water and food.
He said, "Please, sir, can I have some soup?"
He went to the home of a friend and Seven Rivers Warriors gang member, John Jones, whose mother, Barbara, nursed McCarty back to health.
Okay.
The Jones family developed a strong attachment to old Billy and gave him one of their horses when he was healthy enough to move on.
So kind.
Here you go, Billy boy. You take this horse, you take care of yourself, and I made you a few things in this. Some biscuits and some jerky. Well, anyway,
What are you gonna do?
still an outlaw and unable to find honest work.
Now an outlaw.
Still. And unable to find honest work, Billy the Kid met up with another bandit named Jesse Evans, who was the leader of a gang of rustlers called the Boys. He's like, "You want to go meet the Boys? Who's that?" "Just a gang of rustlers I rattled up." Rustled up, right?
Rattled up.
Why wouldn't I say rustled up?
I rattled him up.
Rattled them up. I was like, how would y'all like to be called the Boys?
They're like,
They're like, what are we going to do? It's like, we're going to raid herds owned by cattle. That's terrible. Let's do all this.
herds owned by cattle.
We're gonna do all this.
Damn, I didn't know this is fucking a movie where animals are anthropomorphic or whatever they
Right.
call that.
Well, now an outlaw unable to find honest work. Honest. Here we go again. Now an outlaw and unable to find honest work, Billy the Kid met up with another bandit. His name was Jesse Evans.
Jesse Evans?
Yeah, Jesse Evans. He was the leader of a gang of rustlers.
What were they called?
The Boys.
Oh, the Boys.
Guess what they did?
What?
They raided herds of cattle owned by one guy, John Chisholm. Everybody knows Chisholm from Lincoln County.
Chisholm from Lincoln County.
They didn't want to do that anymore. Well, Billy didn't have anywhere else to go, and since it was suicide to be alone in a hostile, lawless territory that he was in, the kid reluctantly joined the gang. He was like, well, I guess I'm just to let you guys know I'm very reluctant to join your gang.
Reluctant.
And they were like, all right, noted. Duly noted. After the McCarty was spotted in Silver City, his involvement with the gang was mentioned in a local newspaper.
Okay.
At some point, 1877, McCarty began to refer to himself as
You guessed it.
William H. Bonney.
All right. There we go. And the man, the myth, the legend.
And here it goes.
Here we go. After returning to New Mexico, Bonney worked as a cowboy for English businessman and rancher John Henry Tunstall. I've never heard the Tunstall name before.
Obviously. Tunstall's this fucking guy who he stays with for years. You ever watch Young Guns?
I swear somebody else we did had a Tunstall in there too.
1 and 2.
Maybe. Anyways, yeah, John Henry Tunstall near the Rio Felix, a tributary of the Rio Grande
Right.
in Lincoln County. Look at that Tunstall guy. What a dapper little fella. He had to sit there for 7 hours just to have that picture taken. Tunstall and his business partner and lawyer Alexander McSween were opponents of an alliance formed by Irish-American businessman Lawrence Murphy, James Dolan, and John Riley. The three men had wielded an economic and political hold over Lincoln County since the early 1870s, due in part to their ownership of a beef contract with nearby Fort Stanton,
Right.
and a well-patronized dry goods store in the town of Lincoln.
I mean, that's how it went. They had the money and
They provided goods that
Yep.
they couldn't go without, so...
it makes them boss.
Right. By February 1878, McSween owed $8,000 to Dolan, who obtained a court order and asked Lincoln County Sheriff William J. Brady to attach nearly $40,000 worth of Tunstall's property and livestock. Uh-oh. Got a little dissension in the group here, huh?
Wow. And Tunstall's probably going to be like, wait a minute.
He's like, wait, McSween owes you, not me. Why are you
Right.
fucking
I bet
putting
that's
my
what's gonna
shit?
happen.
You bastards.
Well, Tunstall put Bonney in charge of 9 prime horses and told him to relocate them to his ranch for safekeeping. Meanwhile, Sheriff Brady assembled a large posse to seize Tunstall's cattle. On 18th February 1878, Tunstall learned of the posse's presence on his land, and he rode out to intervene. He's like, oh, hell no, I don't think so. During an encounter, one member of the posse shot Tunstall in the chest, knocking him off his horse. Another posse member took Tunstall's gun and killed him with a shot to the back of the head.
Damn.
Killed him dead. Tunstall's murder ignited a conflict between the two factions that became known as, you guessed it, the Lincoln County War.
Okay, well, after Tunstall was killed, Bonney and Dick Brewer swore affidavits against Brady and those in his posse and obtained murder warrants from Lincoln County Justice of the Peace John B. Wilson. Okay. On February 20th, 1878, while attempting to arrest Brady, the sheriff and his deputies found and arrested Bonnie and 2 other men riding with him.
Dick Brewer, Charlie Sheen's character, right? I think so. He was supposed to be the leader.
I don't know.
I think so, bud.
Found and arrested Bonnie and 2 other men riding with him. Okay. Deputy U.S. Marshal Robert Weidenman, a friend of Bonnie, and a detachment of soldiers captured Sheriff Brady's jail guards, put them behind bars, and released Bonnie and Brewer.
Nice.
Okay, so Bonnie then joined the Lincoln County Regulators. On March 9th, they captured Frank Baker and William Morton, both of whom were accused of killing Tunstall.
All right.
Baker and Morton were killed while trying to escape. On April 1st, 1878, the regulators ambushed Sheriff Brady and his deputies. Bonnie was wounded in the thigh during the battle, though. Brady and Deputy Sheriff George W. Hinman were killed.
Murdered.
On the morning of April 4th, 1878, Buckshot Roberts and Dick Brewer were killed during a shootout at Blazer's Mill.
All right.
Okay, warrants were issued for several participants on both sides, and Bonnie and 2 others were charged with killing the 3 men. Ha! Yeah, I'm sure he was.
See, that's where Young Guns fucked it all up, because they made Young Guns to be deputies serving warrants, and that's how Charlie Sheen's character, which would be Dick in this character, in this story, the real story, gets killed trying to serve that warrant in the outhouse. The dude's in the outhouse, shoots him right in the chest with a shotgun through the outhouse. Charlie Sheen, remember? You ever watched the Young Guns before?
Man, it's been a while.
You should watch the Young Guns then. With
Chavez, that's the real guy.
It's,
there he is, right there.
What's his face?
Lou Diamond, man.
Yep.
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Great movie. Kiefer Sutherland, Emilio.
Yes, man, I know. Everybody's seen Young Guns.
Have they?
Yes. Everybody. Especially
Young Guns 2? How about Young Guns 2?
Obviously.
You seen Young Guns 2?
Yes. 100 times.
Poor Chavez.
100 times. So, yeah, Bonnie and 2 others were charged with killing, I'm assuming, Brady and Hinman, as well as...
The other guy. There's a couple of them.
Were charged with killing the 3 men. What 3 men? Hinman, Brady, Baker, and Morton.
So they're charged
were
for all of
killed,
them?
but they only charged for 3. So, either or, he's charged with killing 3 men.
Sunday night, July 14th, McSween and the regulators, now a group of about 50 or 60 men,
Damn.
went to Lincoln and stationed themselves in the town among several buildings. At the McSween residence were Bonnie, Florencio Chavez, Jose Chavez E. Chavez, Jim French, Harvey Morris, Tom O'Filliard, and Ignio Salazar, amongst very many others.
Yeah.
Another group led by Marin
How many
Chavez,
fucking Chavezes are there?
Doc Spurlock, which is Kiefer Sutherland's character, I believe, in Young Guns, possessed themselves on the roof of a saloon. Henry Newton Brown, Dick Smith, and George Coe defended a nearby adobe bunkhouse. On Tuesday, the 16th of July, newly appointed Sheriff George Pepin sent sharpshooters to kill the McSween defenders at the saloon.
Okay.
So 2 days later, these motherfuckers were there for 2 days. And they're like, we got to do something about this. Go kill them bastards. All right. Pepin's men retreated when one of the snipers, Charles Crawford, was killed by Fernando Herrera.
How? They shot him from the roof? He speak up on him or sneak up on him? Or?
Well, Pepin then sent a request for assistance to Colonel Nathan Dudley. We don't know how. I wish we would have known, right? Commandment of nearby Fort Stanton. So
Okay, Nathan Dudley, the old colonel. Pepin's like, dude, we need your fucking help with these guys.
they're stationed everywhere, and they just killed one of my men. In a
What
reply,
were you doing? Well, I was trying to kill one of their men.
Exactly. Was there any drama or violence before this? No, they're just there. All right. In reply to Pepin, Dudley refused to intervene, but later arrived in Lincoln with troops, turning the battle in favor of the Murphy-Dolan faction. See, this is what I don't... this right here is true. That's what I knew. That's one thing I always hated about Young Guns. Because all this happened, but it made it seem it's twisted to make Billy the Kid look
sympathetic.
right.
Or is it twisted to make him look even more of a criminal?
No, you're still sympathetic to Billy, but it's like these troops were always there running, looking for him.
Right.
And it wasn't this case.
Well, somebody was always looking for him, whether it was troops or sheriffs.
Right. And also this happened at the Tunstall's house before.
At the beginning of the movie.
When they roll out, where Billy Kid rolls down the roof in the barrel in a chest and comes out.
That was at the beginning of the movie.
Was in the beginning?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so see, they got,
Right, they went to...
And then they went back.
They went to Tunstall's farm, and they were all hiding. And then they started talking to him, and then they killed him.
Yeah, they're hiding in the dock in the wife's house, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't Tunstall because he's already dead.
At the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, Tunstall dies. And then later on in the movie, they go...
But when the guys come, they have Billy and all them hide. Like, Billy was sweeping out the fucking horse's stall.
Oh, that's
and
in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, they had him hide. They killed Tunstall there, though.
Yeah, right there where Billy was. And
Right.
he's sitting in the little thing. Yeah.
That's clearly not how Tunstall died or where Tunstall died.
I'm saying where we're at right now with the army.
Yeah.
They come into town in the movie. They make it seem like coming there just to go to that house, and they go straight to the house where Billy the Kid and all the rest of the guys are at, and there's like a big old fucking...
Are you sure they were at the house and they weren't in a town?
They're in the town. They're at the dock in his wife's house. It wasn't Tunstall's.
Right. Right. So what are you bitching about?
That's what they're saying right now. But they weren't there to go to a house. We just seen that these guys were out through the whole fucking town, right?
The Billy's gang was, yes.
Yeah. Well, in the movie, there's only 5 or 6 guys, and they're in a little house.
Obviously.
Yeah.
They're not can't have a movie about 60 fucking gang members, dude.
I mean, easily. In reply to Pep and Dudley refused to intervene, but later arrived in Lincoln with troops, turning the battle in favor of the Murphy-Dolan faction. I said that already.
Yes, you did.
A shooting war broke out on February of July of 19.
So in 3 days, they went from camping out on roofs to a fucking shootout. Shooting war.
McSween's supporters gathered inside his house.
Okay.
When Buck Powell and Deputy Sheriff Jack Long set fire to the building, the occupants began shooting. Yeah. Bonnie and the other men fled the building when all the rooms but one were burning.
Okay.
During the confusion, Alexander McSween was shot and moited by Robert W. Beckwith, who was then shot and killed by Bonnie. Okay, that happened too.
Yeah.
Alexander was shot.
Well, Bonnie and 3 other survivors of the Battle of Lincoln were near the Mescalero Indian Agency when the agency bookkeeper Morris Bernstein was murdered on August 5th, 1878. Mm-hmm. All four were indicted for the murder, despite conflicting evidence that Bernstein had been killed by Constable Antanasio Martinez. All the indictments except Bonnie's were later quashed.
Really?
I wonder why.
Right.
In the fall of 1878, retired Union General Lew Wallace became the new territorial governor of New Mexico, and he ain't gonna like Billy the Kid.
Nope, I got a feeling he's like, who? Billy? No, gotta go.
Well, in order to restore peace to Lincoln County, Wallace proclaimed an amnesty for any man involved in the Lincoln County War that was not already under indictment. It specifically excluded persons who had been convicted or indicted for a crime, and therefore excluded Bonnie.
Nice.
I think Bonnie was the only one that still had the indictment. Everybody else got quashed, so he specifically did it just so Bonnie couldn't get fucking amnesty.
Right.
They don't like Billy the Kid.
Did not one bit at all like Billy the Kid. On 18 February 1879, though, Bonnie and his friend Tom O'Folliard were in Lincoln and watched as attorney Houston Chapman was shot and moited. And then his corpse was set on fire.
Jeez.
That's ridiculous. I mean, you killed a guy, and now you got to burn him? According to eyewitnesses, the pair were innocent bystanders forced at gunpoint by Jesse Evans to witness the murder.
Why'd Jesse turn on him?
You know, why did they make these guys watch it? That's pretty fucked up.
Right, so they would be accomplices or some shit.
Well, William H. Bonney wrote to Governor Wallace on the 13th of March in 1879 with an offer to provide information on the Chapman murder in exchange for...
You guessed it.
Right, he wants immunity. He wants to be set free, wiped clean. Wallace was intrigued by the rumors that McCarty was willing to surrender himself and testify against other combatants if amnesty could be extended to him. Well, 1879 in March, Wallace and Billy met to discuss the possibility of that very deal. True to form, McCarty greeted the governor with a revolver in one hand and a Winchester rifle in the other. Fantastic. After several days...
He's like, I ain't stupid. Right. I know what you'll do if I wasn't armed.
After very several days to think the issue over, Billy agreed to testify in return.
After very several days.
That's what it says.
It doesn't.
After several days to think the issue over, Billy agreed to testify. And he goes, I still need amnesty.
Yeah, I think that's why he would agree.
Right.
Well, on March 20th, Wallace wrote to Bonney to remove all suspicion of understanding. He wrote to Bonney to remove all suspicion of understanding. I think it'd be better to put the arresting party in charge of Sheriff Kimbrough, who shall be instructed to see that no violence is used. So basically, they want Sheriff Kimbrough to take Bonney into town.
Right. so everybody sees it and all that shit.
Right. Bonnie responded on the same day, agreeing to testify and confirming Wallace's proposal for his arrest and detention in a local jail to assure his safety.
Right.
Well, on March 21st, Bonnie let himself be captured by a posse led by Sheriff George of Lincoln County. As agreed, Bonnie provided a statement about Chapman's murder and testified in court. Even though his testimony helped to indict one of the powerful House faction leaders, John Dolan,
however,
the district attorney defied Wallace's order to set Billy free after testifying.
Right.
However, Billy was a skilled escape artist and escaped from Lincoln County Jail on June 17th, 1879. So not only
make him would that really make him a true fugitive, though? The guy was promised to be set free.
Why wouldn't the governor overpower it? Right. First of all,
the guy, because he knew exactly what was going on, but he was promised, so that wouldn't make you a true.
Second of all,
he could have been fine.
Not only is Billy seen as a snitch now,
right?
Now he just escaped again, and now he's got
everybody killing him.
Everybody fucking trying to fucking at least don't trust him. That's for sure. Fucking snitch.
Right. Well, for the next year after that, he hung around Fort Sumner on the Pecos River and developed a fateful friendship with a local bartender named. He should have never found this guy.
You should have guessed this name, if any of the other ones that are.
Well, this guy was later elected as sheriff of Lincoln County. The infamous Pat Garrett himself.
Infamous.
As Sheriff Garrett was charged with arresting his friend Henry McCarty, who by the way now?
No.
Who by now was almost exclusively known as Billy the Kid.
Yes, he was.
About the same time, Billy had formed a gang and referred to them as the Rustlers, or simply Billy the Kid Gang. Okay. You can't have that many names. You got to be known by one name. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Why wouldn't they stay the Regulators?
I'm sure it can't be the Regulators. They'll still exist.
Right, those 50 guys rustled off somewhere else.
The gang is actually called the Rustlers, but other people are like, oh, that's Billy the Kid's gang.
That's true. You know what they did? They stole and they wrestled, as he did before. He goes, I know how to do it. That's what we did before. They're like, you're right, Billy. It works. Told you. We just got to do a little stealing on the side. Right?
I guess.
The core members of the gang were as follows.
You guessed it.
Tom O'Foliad.
Okay.
Charlie Beaudry.
All right.
Tom Pickett.
Yeah.
Billy.
Obviously.
Dirty Dave Rudenbaugh.
Hey, Dirty Dave makes an appearance again.
Hey,
Dirty Dave Rudenbaugh.
Right. And Billy Wilson.
Billy Wilson. If you recall Dirty Dave Rudenbaugh, that's how Wyatt Earp and old Doc Holliday first met, because Doc was hot on Dirty Dave's trail.
He sure in hell was.
And, Wyatt was hot on Dirty Dave's trail, and Doc played poker with him.
Right. That's fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Bomney.
Bonnie avoided further violence until January 10th of 1880 when he shot and killed Joe Grant, who was a newcomer to the area, at Hargrove's Saloon in Fort Sumner, New Mexico.
Just couldn't stop himself.
The Santa Fe Weekly New Mexican reported Billy Bonnie, more extensively known as the Kid, shot and killed Joe Grant. The origin of the difficulty was not learned.
Right.
According to other contemporaries. See, at least like back in the day, those newspapers would have been, hey man, we don't know fucking why he did it. Right. But in today's newspapers say, Billy was really racist. Right. But the guy was white. He still hated other white people.
Known gunman murders more.
Right.
Murders another.
Gun problems in America.
Billy kills again.
What are we going to do about gun control in the Wild West? The fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
According to other contemporary sources, Bonnie had been warned Grant intended to kill him. Okay. He walked up to Grant, told him he admired his revolver, and asked to examine it. Psh. If Grant really wanted to kill him, I don't think he would have gave his fucking gun over, first of all.
Right.
Well, he did, though. Before returning the pistol, which Bonnie noticed contained only 3 cartridges, he positioned the cylinder so that the next hammer would fall and land on an empty chamber. Grant suddenly pointed his pistol. Okay, so maybe he did. Grant suddenly pointed his pistol at Bonnie's face and pulled the trigger. When it failed to fire, Bonnie drew his own weapon and shot Grant in the head.
Ain't that fucked up?
A reporter for the Las Vegas Optic quoted Bonnie as saying the encounter was a game of 2 and I got there first. What a chance is that?
Damn, that it didn't fire.
Well, he put it on an empty chamber, so what a smart little motherfucker, first of all.
Why you not have 6 guns in your...
6 bullets in your gun?
6 bullets in your gun.
Right. But imagine if he hadn't examined his fucking pistol or had to wherewithal to change the chamber to a blank.
That'd be
He
great.
would have been shot in the fucking face.
Done. Over with.
Would have been
Finito.
killed right there.
Murdered.
Moited.
29th of November, 1880. Bonnie Rudaball and Billy Wilson ran from a posse led by Sheriff's Deputy James Carlisle. Cornered at Great House's ranch, Bonnie told the posse they were holding Great House as a hostage.
Okay.
He said, we got to do it. Carlisle offered to exchange places with Great House. He's like, just bring them out. I'll come in. You let them go. And I'll come in there and we'll talk, right? Bonnie's like, hell yeah, sounds like a good idea. Carlisle later attempted to escape by jumping through a window, but he was shot 3 times and moited. Idiot. Didn't work out, did it? The shootout ended in a standoff. The posse withdrew, and Bonnie, Rudaball, and Wilson rode away. Next day, 30th November, 1880, Billy the Kid's gang rode into White Oaks, New Mexico.
Uh-oh.
Ran into Deputy Sheriff James Redmond. Taking shots at the deputy, Redmond hid behind a saloon as several local citizens ran into the street, chasing the fugitives out of town. Damn.
Can you imagine that? The whole town just like, you get out of here, you police!
It's the
You get out of here!
typical pitchfork and
Fire sticks.
right, instant.
Oh,
When
man.
they're riding away, they're like, "Damn, how they get those damn things so quick?"
Where the hell they come from?
They just got torches lit everywhere just in case.
It was medieval times. Got torches lining hallways and shit.
Instead of fire extinguishers that where you had to break the glass, there were torches that already lit.
In case of mob. In case of mob, break glass.
Grabbed a little torch and pitchfork that extended as a telescopic. So they can fit it in a little piece of glass, you know. And you push the button and the blades go out and make a pitchfork.
That's pretty high tech shit for 1880, man.
Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do to protect your fucking protect your colony.
Protect your fucking city. There, in case of mob break glass. That's fucking great. On December 15th, 1880, Governor Wallace put up a $500 reward on Billy's head, and Pat Garrett began a relentless pursuit of the outlaw.
Actually, 107 years.
Oh, right. Right. 87, right. Duh. Yeah, 107 years. So, damn, it's crazy.
Right.
Oh, so, yeah, old Pat Garrett has to chase down his former friend, because you know him and Billy were chummy back in the day.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, really, until Pat Garrett became a
Lawman.
Garrett set up many traps and ambushes in an attempt to apprehend Billy, but Billy seemed to have an animal instinct that warned him of the danger. But that was not to last.
It was not.
Trailed by the resolute Garrett, Billy the Kid, Billy Wilson, Rudaball, Tom O'Folliard, Charlie Beaudry, and Tom Pickett rode warily into Fort Sumner, New Mexico.
They did.
On December 19th, 1880, and were confronted by Garrett's posse, which had been hiding in an old post hospital building.
Just waiting.
How do you know they were going to go there? First
sure
of
he had
all,
scouts.
did he?
I'm sure.
Pat Garrett, Lon Chambers, and several others leaped from cover as Garrett ordered the outlaws to halt.
Oh.
However, several of the posse members didn't wait for the outlaws to respond to Garrett's demand, instead opening fire on Pickett and O'Folliard, who were riding in front. Though Pickett survived to escape, O'Folliard lay dead in the dusty street.
He was.
It was a, what are those things called? A tumbleweed rolled right over his face.
Right over his face.
Rudaball's horse caught a bullet and collapsed. Where Rudaball managed to jump onto Wilson's horse, and he and the other outlaws escaped, holing up in an abandoned cabin near Stinking Springs, New Mexico. Where we at? We're in Stinking Springs. Freaking Stinking Springs.
Soon thereafter, the determined Garrett's posse tracked the outlaws down and surrounded the hideout. Inside of the house were Billy, Charlie, Dave Rudaball, Tom Pickett, and Billy Wilson. When Beaudry passed before an open window, boom,
bam,
shot in the chest.
Right in the chest.
Idiot.
Why would you go through a
He's
window?
Like, I'm just gonna walk past this window and look and see what's going on.
I'm sure they didn't know they were out there, though.
I mean, you had to be.
They were probably off in the woods, not knowing that. Now they know that they're out there.
Somebody's got to be looking out.
Oh, Charlie.
Can't just assume you're safe. The siege continued to the next day when Rudaball finally waved a white flag and the bandits surrendered. They're like, we're done.
Why did Dirty Dave get to decide that?
Because Billy Ferry told him, he was like, just wave that flag. He ain't going to do it, right?
Right.
2030.
What do you mean? He's already a snitch.
I know.
Snitched on fucking,
what's his face?
who the fuck, yeah, the one guy that made him watch the murders.
But that was probably like a vengeance thing too, right?
Yeah, probably.
Billy Kid and his gang of rustlers were captured on the 23rd of December in 1880. Billy was the first taken to a jail in Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Oh, shit.
When they arrived on the 26th of December, they were met by crowds of curious onlookers.
Curious.
Billy rode up in town with them. He was like, wow, that crowd looks very curious.
Why are they so curious?
They're onlooking pretty well.
We'll call them Georges.
The following day, an armed mob gathered at the train depot before the prisoners, who were already on board the train with Garrett, departed for Santa Fe. Deputy Sheriff Romero...
An armed mob gathered at the train depot before the prisoners who were already on board the train with Garrett.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Deputy Sheriff Romero, backed by an army group, demanded custody of Dave Rodaball. Oh, sorry.
An army group? They had a lot of arms.
Deputy Sheriff Romero, backed by an angry group of men.
There you go.
Demanded custody of Dave Rudball. You guys can take the rest. We just want that dirty Dave.
Dirty Dave killed our dirty local jailer.
He left our jail cell very dirty.
Damn it, he's got a fucking cloud of dust like fucking Linus.
They wanted Dirty Dave. Not only did he leave his jailhouse dirty, he killed a local jailer as well.
Yep.
He didn't mean to. It was just the dust was so thick. The guy suffocated. Garrett refused to surrender. He's like, no, I'm taking this guy. He's my prisoner. And we're going to Santa Fe, motherfuckers. An intense confrontation ensued until he agreed to let the sheriff and 2 other men accompany the party to Santa Fe.
He's like, I'm not giving you them.
Here's what I can do. One of you and 2 other guys can come along. Other than that...
Well, that makes 3 of you.
He's talking to the sheriff. He said, you and 2 other guys can come along, but everybody else, you stay put. And they're like, fuck it. All right.
He's like, I'm not giving them to you. These are my prisoners now, but you're welcome to tag along and make your case to the governor.
He might let you bring them all the way back here and
right.
do what you're going to do, but who's even say that you're going to make it back?
Exactly.
In a later interview with the reporter, Billy the Kid said he was unafraid during the incident, saying, if I only had my Winchester, I'd lick the whole crowd.
If I only had my Winchester.
Right. The Las Vegas Gazette ran a story from a jailhouse interview following Bonnie's capture. When the reporter said Bonnie appeared relaxed, he replied, what's the use of looking on the gloomy side of everything? The laugh's on me this time.
Yep, sure is. Got yourself in deep shit, and now you're caught.
And then he probably chuckled.
Well,
I don't know if that's how he laughed. It might have been.
It could have been. Billy got sentenced. Then he was moved to Lincoln, where he was held under guard on the top floor of the town courthouse.
I don't understand why they always bring him back to this, like the Lincoln and all that, knowing that there's...
Right. I mean, come on. What this guy done. And they just put him in a room in the top of the courthouse. Like,
leave him in the fucking with the governor.
The governor, you would think. Like,
They got a nice fancy jailhouse over there.
This guy's escaped from fucking everything imaginable, and they just do this?
Yeah.
Come on. Well, on the evening of April 28, 1881, while Garrett was in White Oaks collecting taxes, Deputy Bob Olinger took 5 other prisoners across the street for a meal, leaving James Bell, another deputy, alone with Bonnie at the jail. Oh, jeez. Bonnie asked to be taken outside to use the outhouse behind the courthouse. On the return to the jail, Bonnie, who was walking ahead of Bell up the stairs to a cell, hid around a blind corner, slipped out of his handcuffs, and beat Bell with the loose end of the cuffs. Holy shit. How do you slip out of handcuffs? Well, during the ensuing scuffle, Bonnie grabbed Bell's revolver and fatally shot him in the back as Bell tried to get away. Bonnie had his legs still shackled and broke into Garrett's office and took a loaded shotgun left behind by Olinger. Yep. Bonnie waited at the upstairs window for Olinger to respond to the gunshot that killed Bell and called out to him, "Look up, old boy, and see what you get." When Olinger looked up, Bonnie shot and killed him.
Damn.
After about an hour, Bonnie freed himself from the leg irons with an axe. Damn. He obtained a horse and rode out of town.
Sure now did.
According to some stories, he was singing as he left Lincoln.
Hey, all right.
He was like... Damn, and old Robert M. Olinger died here. Killed by Billy the Kid. April 28th, 1881. Do you think it's still there?
What?
That little headstone.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
They couldn't even spell. They couldn't even get a big enough brick to spell his first name. They could at least put Bob.
Well, they could have.
They put Robbed.
Robbed
M. Olinger. And they spelled his name wrong. It's 1 L. And they put 2 L's on the stone.
Maybe that's how you really spell it.
Jeez.
Maybe that's how you really spell it.
Yeah, maybe. I doubt it.
Well, Billy the Kid was on the run. Governor Wallace placed a new $500 bounty on the fugitive's head. Almost 3 months after his escape, Garrett, responding to rumors that Billy was in the vicinity of Fort Sumner, left Lincoln with 2 deputies on the 14th of July in 1881 to go question resident Pete Maxwell, a friend of Bonnie's.
Okay.
Maxwell, son of land
Hey.
Baron Lucian Maxwell.
You guys all know who that is, don't you?
Right.
What's he from?
Philip. Spoke to Garrett.
Is Lucian? Is
Lucian.
he the?
I think it's Lucian.
Is
Lucian.
he the?
Lucian Maxwell.
Is he the Cimarron guy or is he the
Lucian.
Las Vegas, New Mexico guy?
Lucian
Remember the one that had the big ass land
Oh.
grant?
Is that him?
Yeah. Which one was he? Cimarron or fucking Las Vegas, New Mexico? One of them.
I think it was New Vegas.
New Vegas, Fallout.
Spoke with. Anyway, what happened here? Yeah, Garrett was going to speak to the son of the land baron, Lucian Maxwell. His name is Pete.
Yes.
Which he spoke to Lucian several hours before. Yeah, Garrett left Lincoln with 2 deputies on the 14th of July, 1881.
No.
Okay, around midnight of the 14th of July, the pair sat in Maxwell's darkened bedroom when Bonnie unexpectedly entered.
Yep.
Accounts vary as to what happened next. According to most versions, as he entered the room, Bonnie failed to recognize Garrett due to the poor lighting. Drawing his revolver and backing away, Bonnie asked, Queeness? I don't know if that's how you say it, which means, who is it? Recognizing Bonnie's voice, Garrett drew his revolver and fired twice. The first bullet struck Bonnie in the chest, just above his heart, while the second missed. Garrett's account leaves it unclear whether Billy was killed instantly or took some time to die.
Oh.
A few hours after the shooting, a local justice of the peace assembled a coroner's jury of 6 people. The jury members interviewed Maxwell and Garrett, and Bonnie's body and the location of the shooting were examined.
So he walks into the room,
Right. Who is it?
completely dark, sees somebody else sitting there. I mean, he probably would have been,
Or at least took cover or something.
who the hell is that? Who's that?
Right.
Who's that?
Who the fuck is you? Right?
And boom,
That'd make more sense.
dead. He'd have been killed instantly, right above the heart.
Right.
But there's a little conspiracy with that that we'll get to here in a couple seconds. Well, the coroner's jury certified the body as Bonnie's, and according to a local newspaper, the jury foreman said it was the kid's body that we examined. Okay. Bonnie was given a wake by candlelight that same day. He was buried the next day. Buried the next day, and his grave was denoted with a wooden marker. 5 days after Bonnie's killing, Garrett traveled to Santa Fe, New Mexico to collect the $500 reward by the governor. William G. Rich, the acting New Mexico governor, refused to pay the reward.
Right. Because it was the other governor.
So Governor Lew Wallace did the reward, but the new governor said, yeah, I don't know about that.
I didn't like that.
Over the next few weeks, the residents of Las Vegas, Mesilla, Santa Fe, White Oaks, and other New Mexico cities raised over $7,000 in reward money for Garrett. A year and 4 days after Bonnie's death, the New Mexico Territorial Legislature passed a special act to grant Garrett the $500 bounty. Why?
Right.
Why did all these towns like Garrett was some fucking...
Right. Some fucking hero.
Right, you killed Billy the Kid.
Right. And he got $7,000
$7,000 plus $500.
later on. Yeah.
All right, because people had begun to wait. Yeah, he got the $500, but because people had begun to claim Garrett unfairly ambushed Bonnie, Garrett felt the need to tell his side of the story and called upon his friend, who was journalist Marshall Upson, to ghostwrite a book for him. The book, The Authentic Life of Billy the Kid, was first published in 1882 of April. Only a few copies sold following its release. It eventually became a reference for later historians who wrote about Bonnie's life. So, who knows how much of that shit about Billy the Kid is true anyways? Fucking Pat Garrett.
Right.
Like, he didn't know fucking Bonnie the whole time, number one. Number two, how's it the authentic life of Billy the Kid?
Yeah, it can't be.
Unless Billy sat there when they were actually friends and they had a bunch of fucking late nights talking about what happened with Billy the Kid.
You're going to write a book for me. You write
Right.
this shit down there, Patty.
Yeah. That's the same thing as Bat Masterson writing books about Doc Holliday and fucking Wyatt Earp.
It's
Well,
nuts.
they weren't with him every step of the way. How the fuck do you know?
I'm sure a lot of it's somewhat true or based on actual events.
Based on stories they heard.
Right.
I was there. No, you weren't.
You weren't. Well,
Fucks.
over time, legends grew claiming that Bonnie was not killed and that Garrett staged the incident and death out of friendship so that Bonnie could evade the law, which is also probably what really happened. During the next 50 years, a number of men claimed they were Billy. Billy.
No, you're not. You don't even know how to pronounce his name.
A number of men claimed they were Billy the Kid. Most of these claims were easily disproven.
Of course.
But two have remained topics of discussion and of debate.
Always is.
1948, a Central Texas man, Ollie P. Roberts, also known as Brushy Bill Roberts, began claiming he was Billy the Kid and went before New Mexico Governor Thomas J. Mabry seeking a pardon. Mabry dismissed Roberts' claim, and Roberts died shortly afterward. Nevertheless, can they like fucking charge him for impersonating or some shit like that? Lying to the court, he's under oath and all that shit, right?
Who's to say he's lying?
Exactly.
The governor or the judge just didn't believe him. He was like, yeah, I don't know.
Right.
There's no evidence.
Well, nevertheless, though, in Hyco, Texas, Roberts' town of residence capitalized on his claim by opening a Billy the Kid museum.
Of course they did.
Yeah, why not?
Well, another man named John Miller, who was an Arizona man, also claimed he was Bonnie. This was unsupported by his family until 1938, sometime after his death. Miller's body was buried in the state-owned Arizona Pioneers Home Cemetery in Prescott, Arizona. In May 2005, Miller's teeth and bones were exhumed and examined without permission from the state. DNA samples from the remains were sent to a laboratory in Dallas and tested to compare Miller's DNA with blood samples obtained from floorboards in the old Lincoln County courthouse and a bench where Bonnie's body allegedly was placed after he was shot. That makes no fucking sense. How are you going to get any DNA from floorboards and a bench?
Right.
Of course, according to a July 2015 article in the Washington Post, the lab results were useless. Now, you fucking think?
Duh.
They're like, maybe I could see, maybe it's soaked into the wood at some place, and then there would be maybe something you could get out of it. But yeah, I don't know. That's the dumbest thing.
Right. Well, in 2004, researchers sought to exhume the remains of Catherine Antrim, Bonnie's mother, whose DNA would be tested and compared with that of the body buried in Williams Bonnie's graves. So go dig up old William Bonnie and see what if there's not even a body there. Could have been just an empty casket.
Right.
As of 2012, her body had not been exhumed. In 2007, author and amateur historian Gail Cooper filed a lawsuit against the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office under the State Inspection of Public Records Act to produce records of the results of the 2006 DNA test and other forensic evidence collected in the Billy the Kid investigations.
Puppy monkey baby. Never fails.
In April of 2012, 133 pages of documents were provided. They offered no conclusive evidence confirming or disproving the generally accepted story of Garrett's killing of Bonnie. They're like, we don't know. We're just going to take it. Whatever Garrett says is true, right? They're like,
well, no. They couldn't prove or disprove.
Right. Whatever it says.
So they're just they're just saying
we have the records.
Yeah, we have the records, but we're not. I mean, they could be bullshit. They could be true. How do we know?
They could have been produced earlier than anything, earlier than his death, right?
Right. Like
we don't know.
So this shit went through a whole bunch of fucking legal proceedings, huh?
We don't know what really happened, but we have fucking documents signed by government officials. A man of the law supposedly killed William H. Bonnie. He was ID'd by 6 people.
Right. All we know is that he died, supposedly. And this is what Pat Garrett said happened, pretty much.
Yeah.
In 2014, Cooper was awarded $100,000 in punitive damage.
Punitive.
So some random journalist gets $100,000 in damages. But the decision was later overturned by the New Mexico Court of Appeals. Of course it was. The lawsuit ultimately cost Lincoln County nearly $300,000.
Damn.
In February 2015, historian Robert Stahl petitioned a district court in Fort Sumner asking the state of New Mexico to issue a death certificate for Bonnie. In July 2015, Stahl filed suit in the New Mexico Supreme Court to have this happen. They asked the court to order the state's Office of the Medical Investigator to release or to officially certify Bonnie's death under New Mexico state law. Why are these historian people fucking petitioning for a death fucking certificate? Who gives a fuck?
So he's never been officially dead, though?
I guess not.
Still alive.
He's not officially dead in the United States because so he's trying to say that basically this Robert Stahl guy is like, this really happened. Garrett really killed him, so give him a death certificate.
Right.
Pretty much.
Fucking dumb. Well, as of 2020, only 2 photographs confirmed to show Bonnie are known to exist in this whole world.
In the whole wild.
Others thought to depict him are disputed. Of course they are. One of the 3 remaining artifacts of Bonnie's life is a 2 by 3 inch, 5.1 by 7.6 centimeter Pharaoh type photograph of Bonnie by an unknown photographer in late 1879, early 1880. Was that like a tin thing where it's backwards?
And that's the that's the image that you guys commonly see all over there. If you look at Billy the Kid, this is the image that
they say he's actually left-handed because it's a flip picture,
Right.
basically. Well, what do you know, right? The image shows Bonnie wearing a vest over a sweater, a slouch cowboy hat, and a bandana while holding an 1873 Winchester rifle with its butt resting on the floor. For years, this was the only photograph scholars and historians agreed showed Bonnie. The ferrotype survived because Bonnie's friend Dan Diedrich kept it after the outlaw's death. It was passed down through Diedrich's family and was copied several times, appearing in numerous publications during the 20th century. In June of 2011, the original plate was bought at an auction for a whopping $2.3 million
Wow.
by a businessman named William Koch.
Okay.
The image shows Bonnie wearing his holstered Colt revolver on his left side, which led to historians to believe he was actually left-handed.
Oh, see? No, that's what it was. His revolver was on his left side
Right,
here in the picture, but
Right.
since it's reversed, he's actually right-handed.
right, that's what it is.
Right.
Left-handed, but they did not take into consideration that ferrotypes process produces reverse images.
What kind of fucking historians are these?
All right.
You're supposed to be a historian,
Like,
and
oh.
this is the first time you ever heard of a ferrotype?
It's a mirrored image, buddy.
It's the first time you ever heard of a ferrotype,
Right.
and you wouldn't know that they were fucking reversed. What a bunch of idiots. What kind of historians are these guys?
They're not. 1954 Western historian James, we call him, from now on, historians,
Quote, unquote, air quotes.
James D. Horan and Paul Sand, wrote that Bonnie was right-handed and carried his pistol on his right hip.
That would make sense, yeah.
The opinion was confirmed by Clyde Jevons.
The opinion was confirmed.
Right.
How do you confirm an opinion?
Right. The opinion was proved fact, that's what I
Right.
should say, by
I
Clyde
guess that would
Jevons,
be confirmed.
a former curator of the National Film and Television Archive. Several historians have written that Bonnie was ambidextrous.
Yeah, that's the word. Okay. Everybody knows fucking a ferrotype by now, right?
Right.
Well, you do now.
This is the other one.
Well, another 4 by 6 inch ferrotype purchased at a memorabilia shop in Fresno in 2010 has claimed to show Bonnie and members of the Regulators playing croquet. If authentic, is the only known photo of Billy the Kid and the Regulators together, and the only image to feature their wives and female companions.
Yeah.
Collector Robert G. McCubbin and outlaw historian John Bossenecker concluded in 2013 that the photograph does not show Bonnie, however. Whitney Braun, who's a
It
professor...
says it does show the other guys, though.
Whitney Braun, a professor and researcher, located an advertisement for a croquet set sold at Chapman's General Store in Las Vegas, New Mexico, dated June 1878. Kent Gibson, a forensic video and still image expert, offered the services of his facial recognition software and stated that Bonnie is indeed one of the individuals in the image. So what the fuck? Is he or isn't he?
Right.
In August 2015, Lincoln State Monument officials and the New Mexico Department of Cultural Affairs said that despite the new research, they cannot confirm that the image showed Bonnie or others from the Lincoln County War era.
Yeah, it's not true.
According to monument manager Gary Cousins. A photograph curator at the Palace of Governor's Archives, Daniel Kosharek, said the image is problematic on a lot of fronts. Why? He says, well, it's got the small size of the figures and the lack of resemblance of the background landscape to Lincoln County or the state in general.
That was proved wrong as well.
Editors from True West magazine staff said no one in our office thinks this photo is of the Kid or the Regulators, and that matter of fact. In early October 2015, Kagan's Inc., a numismatic authentication firm, said the image was authentic after a number of experts, including those associated with recent National
What the fuck is
Geographic
going
Channel
on here?
program, examed it. Oh my!
It is. Well, it isn't.
It is. It is too. No, it ain't. It is too. No, it ain't. It is too. No, it ain't. Yes, it is. All right.
2010.
I guess nobody cares after that.
All right.
What the fuck?
Jeez. 2010, New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson turned down a request for a posthumous pardon of Bonnie for the murder of Sheriff William Brady.
I never understood that. Pardoning a fucking outlaw who killed people. Like,
dumb.
just because he's a famous fucking figure. Why would you pardon him?
Right.
He's a murderer.
The pardon considered was to fulfill General Lew Wallace's 1879 promise to Bonnie.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Hey, man, that's why.
He was supposed to get full pardon.
Yeah.
Richardson's decision citing
he committed 85 crimes after he was supposed to be pardoned.
Right. So he pardoned for that one.
Right.
Richardson's decision citing historical ambiguity was announced on the 31st of December in 2010.
Oh, what a bitch.
His last day in office.
His last day.
It's like, I'm announcing I'm gone.
Yeah.
1931, Charles W. Fuller and an unofficial tour guide at Fort Sumter Cemetery campaigned to raise funds for a permanent marker for the gravestones of Bonnie, O'Folliard, and Baudry. As a result of his efforts, a stone memorial marked with the names of the three men and their death dates beneath the word pals were erected in the center of the burial area.
Oh,
that's cool.
Sweet.
1940, a stonecutter named James N. Warner of Salida, Colorado, made and donated to the cemetery a new marker for Bonnie's grave. It was stolen on the 8th of February, though, in 1981, but recovered days later in Huntington Beach, California.
That's a hell of a fucking trek there.
Get it. New Mexico Governor Bruce King arranged for the Sheriff County...
the Sheriff County.
The Sheriff County Sheriff.
Yeah, hi, I'm County Sheriff, Sheriff County.
He was like, all right, Sheriff County, you're going to fly to California to return it to Fort Sumner, where it was reinstalled in May of 1981, stolen again the very next day. No kidding. Although both markers are behind iron fencing, a group of vandals entered the enclosure at night in 2012 and tipped the stone over. You bastards.
I mean, you can definitely fit a stick through there or something.
Your foot.
Or your you don't know how far it is away. Look, it looks pretty far in that picture.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, what a bunch of dicks. Why do people do that?
They're idiots.
It's like just the fuck. What joy? I guess. Oh, I knocked Billy Kid's gravestone over. Did we have a stat on music history about somebody did that to
They stole
one of the Leonard Skinner guys' fucking gravestone, didn't they?
Idiots.
They found it in a riverbed or some shit. Idiots. In his short life, Billy the Kid was reputed to have killed 21 men. Okay, one for each year of his life. Dude was 21 years old. However, many historians calculate the figure closer to 9, 4 on his own and 5 with the help of others. Hundreds of songs, books, motion pictures, radio, television programs, and plays have been inspired by the story of the outlaw Billy the Kid.
It's true.
Depictions of him in popular culture have fluctuated between a cold-blooded murderer without no heart and a sentimental hero fighting for justice. The Texas historian J. Frank Dobie wrote many years ago in a vaquero of the brush country in 1929, Billy the Kid will always be interesting, would always appeal to the popular imagination. It's true.
Right.
While a plethora of writers and filmmakers have depicted Billy the Kid as a personification of either heroic youth or juvenile punk, a few have attempted to portray a more complex character. In any case, the dramatic What's
going on here, man?
In any case, the dramatic aspects of his short life and violent death still appeal to popular taste, and he remains an icon of teenage rebellion and nonconformity.
Right.
He does.
Yep.
A little teenage wasteland. The mythologizing. There we go. The mythologizing of his story continues with new works in various media. Yeah, I mean, they'll be making fucking movies and books and everything about Billy the Kid, and long before after we're dead.
Right.
Way long after we're dead. Just like they make movies and books from Julius Caesar from, thousands of years ago?
Right. And everything changes still either way of how he died.
Right.
Isn't that ridiculous?
We'll see.
Well, 'twas on the same night when poor Billy died, he said to his friends, I am not satisfied. There are 21 men I have put bullets through, and Sheriff Pat Garrett will make 22. Now this is how Billy the Kid met his fate. The bright moon was shining and the hour was late. Shot down by Pat Garrett, who once was his very best friend. The young outlaw's life had come to an end. There's many a man with a face fine and fair, who starts out in life with a chance to be square. But, just like poor Billy, he wanders astray and loses his life in that very same way. I miss Billy the Kid.
Night that we had.
Anyway, somebody wrote that. I don't know who did.
Yeah, that was a little poem about Billy the Kid. Unnamed, I think.
Yep.
That's what it's there.
Unknown poem.
Unknown poet. That's part 2, Billy Kid. Everybody knew it was happening. Everybody knew it was
the
coming.
Tomb of the Unknown. It's the poet of the unknown. The poet, the unknown poet.
Well, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is a little more important than some unknown fucking poet who did a Billy the Kid fucking poem. But
I'm sure there's a lot of unknown poems out there. It could be the same guy.
his name is literally unknown.
Unknown poet.
Unknown poet. Hi, Mr. Poet.
I'm Mr. Poet.
First
I
name
prefer unknown. Call me UK. UKP.
UKP. Yeah, you guys already knew the outcome of this episode, what was going to happen if you've known Billy the Kid. If not, then you found out that Billy the Kid could be alive. Well, not no more. He's definitely not alive because he's 100% dead.
Right.
But did he die when they say he died? He died.
They even put the conspiracy even further in Young Guns 2 at the very end.
Wasn't it some old guy or something?
The old guy claiming he was Billy the Kid.
Yeah, man. Well, just like any other, how many outlaws do we do fucking shows on? I believe somebody thought they were, or claimed they were Jesse James.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody claimed they were Sam Bass. Somebody claimed they were everybody. I mean, every outlaw that's famous, somebody's gonna go out and be like, "Oh, I was this guy.
Yeah,
he escaped, really."
But Billy Kid.
But this story actually,
some water.
Yeah, because it's well known him and Pat Garrett were friends,
Very
obviously,
friends.
and it's something that could potentially have happened. So he's like, Pat Garrett's like, just so you know, I'm gonna tell everybody I murdered your ass and blah blah blah. And Billy's like, I don't care, man.
I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done.
But there's also the chance Billy the Kid, he's going to run away at 21 and not commit any more crimes or go back to his other life like he had done already. I mean,
right. Unless he did go to Old Mexico.
And continued his
reign of terror.
Outlawing over there.
Now we're going to have to go in Mexican fucking history and see what they got cooking over there.
We'll have to look at
Billy the Gringo. Billy the Gringo.
Billy the white guy. Billy the white. Billy the white. What is
White Billy?
kid?
Gringo Billy?
What is kid in
El Gringo Billy?
What is kid in Spanish?
It's like Mio, isn't it? No, that's boy.
Mio?
Mio. Mijo.
Mijo.
Hey, oh, mijo.
Hey, mijo.
Yeah, mama.
Hey, mijo. Hey, mijo. It's niño.
Nina.
Niño.
Niña.
Niño.
Niña for feminine.
Yeah.
And Niño for masculine.
Niño. Billy the Niño.
El Nino and La Niña. So it's a feminine storm or a feminine. It's a feminine.
El Nino is a boy storm.
Right, a boy storm. It's gonna be a boy storm.
What does Billy mean in Spanish?
Yo, Billy.
Or how do you pronounce Pora?
Roberto. I mean,
it's Pora Nino. Pora.
What's William?
Pora El Nino.
Yeah.
Pora El Nino.
Pora El Nino.
Okay. So Pora El Nino. See if there's any.
It'd probably be El Nino Pora though.
Right. You know, Spanish is like backwards.
The boy Billy.
The boy. Well.
The masculine Billy.
Go. Yeah, if you want to, go look up some conspiracy, and I'm sure there's more to read about the old conspiracy side of that and other theories and in-depth stuff about that.
It's there.
But for now, we're done.
We're done.
Billy the Kid, episode 2, part 2. His whole life story from beginning to end, as usual, as it always comes to a tragic end with all these little outlaws that we have here.
We're almost there, too, folks.
I think next week you guys are going to see, could be.
What?
Maybe since we're here doing our Deadwood review over on the Mouth of Michiganders feed, maybe we'll do an episode about Deadwood next week.
Maybe.
Get to town. I know we have
possible
Deadwood left.
But I doubt it.
We also have Wyatt Earp, obviously. I think we still have Bodie.
Bodie?
Or Virginia City. Did we do that already? No, we didn't.
Sure.
We didn't do Virginia City and Bodie either.
I'm not sure.
But
it's
gambling.
It's almost time to bootlegging, guys. We're
It
getting
is.
into bootlegging.
A few more weeks. Give us a few more weeks till we get over there. But we have a couple other stuff coming on. I think Charles Black Bart Bowls we never did yet either. So, yeah, we got a few left here. Yeah, we're headed to go record our episode 3, season 1, episode 3 of Deadwood called
Fucking woo.
Recording. Damn, they said it in the episode like 70 times. Recottering the Rim.
Right.
Which I found out what that meant in the episode as well. And you will too. So we're going to head over there and record that. You guys can go check that out. Deadwood review. We're up to we're still on season 1. We're up to episode 3 over on the Mouth of Michiganders feed. And we did do a watch-along, Monday Night Watch-along. I think that's officially done. Seeing as how Peacock keeps cutting out a lot of the Attitude Era stuff, some stuff that we would 100% watch and be part of our storyline. So I think we're screwed, bud. I think we're screwed.
Yeah, they're going to be on hold, bud. Hold.
No, I don't think hold. I think done. By the time they fucking get to putting any of that stuff on, there's going to be nothing left. So they fucking took it out. They already took out DX's fucking parody of Nation of Domination. Took that out.
Jeez, that's sickening.
They took out what the fuck else they take out? They took out already a bunch of shit from the Attitude Era. So
it's all gone.
Yep, bye. Gone.
That's sad.
So
look at Chris Jericho on Stone Cold.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. Everybody's like, "What?"
Some fucking crazy shit. I think.
Did you see the promo video for it?
Yeah.
It was like, "Wah, wah," and then they just look.
Like, that's right, motherfucker.
Nice, but yeah. So
I bet Chris Jericho still has some sort of a Legends contract with WWE. I can guarantee it.
Well, if you believe Vince Russo, he's been saying AEW and WWE have been kind of in cahoots, working together behind the scenes since they started. So,
right.
Who knows? This is not usually a WWE move, that's for sure. But enough with wrestling shit. You guys are here to hear about people dying and getting shot in the face.
Yes.
So we'll be back next week with Deadwood. And we're about to go record Season 1, Episode 3 of our Deadwood review over on the Mouth of Michiganders. Go check us out over there. For now, go follow us on Twitter at OGMM Podcast. We'll be back next week. Like I said, this is the Mouth of Michiganders with
Bang Dang.